Okay, this model kit review is of the Revell Me-109, and this is actually a 1/32 scale, so it's a larger model, and shows you the finished model down here with some engine detail exposed. It's a large size model. Let's have a look inside. This is obviously an older model kit. You can tell also by the way the sprues are laid out. So let's go through some of these here and have a look. So really not much detail when it comes to surface detail here. There's definitely some areas for improvement and some modeling. Here's our spinner with the central cannon. And these sprues are all interconnected. So here we have our engine exhausts and our landing gear. We have some additional parts, looks like probably for the engine. And over here we have our wings, which have some recessed rivet lines and panel lines, which is unusual for these older Revell kits. Looks like we have our flaps, and flaps could be cut out if you wanted to, and lowered. And here's the top of the wing, again with recessed rivet lines, which is incredible for this older kit. Now looking over here at the wings, we'll have to see whether there are some any details here for inside the wheel wells, because that's always an area that needs additional work, but I see really nothing there at the moment. Here's our fuselage. Looks like they've put the instrument panel on there. There are some details there, but again, recessed panel lines and rivet lines. And the engine will be exposed here. And looks like this engine's already been started. So let's take apart some of this here. And look at the engine. So this engine has a fair level of detail. Obviously there's space to add some additional lines and tubes, but it does have some nice details there. Over here we have, it looks like some radiator intakes, the mesh. Here's our engine cover with the cannons, the forward guns. Here's our propeller. It's a large propeller for a large plane. And then these are our aileron flaps and tail. Let's have a look at our pilot. So pilot has some nice detail, and needs a little bit of sanding on the edges. Here's our cockpit, which has some nice surface detail there on the sides. And we have another part there, not sure what that's for. Here are our two wheels, which have some detail on them, and our tail wheel. Looks like we have a central fuel tank here, which has already been glued together. It'll need to be filled and sanded along that line, because clearly you can see a ridge there. Our canopy, this is nicely molded. Some additional covers here for the front of the fuselage. So they will go on round about there. And part of the back part of the spinner. air intake and cannon. And looks like this is the part that goes in the back of the cockpit. Over here we have our decals. Really not a lot of decals for a large detail model like this. Kind of disappointing. May have to get an additional decal kit for that one. Let's have a look at our instructions. Putting the engine together, that's already been done. Need to put the machine guns on there still, it looks like. Then putting the tail and elevator together. Then putting that in the fuselage. Putting the landing gear and wheels on there, as well as the these are the elevators here. The cockpit together. Looks like the cockpit actually goes onto the wings. So wings have to be put there. And they say don't glue the landing gear. I'd rather have it just glued down. Then the engine cover, and putting all those parts together, including the propeller and canopy. Here's our painting and decal guide. Like I said, not very detailed in terms of decals, but those are the paints. Here are the paints needed. So all in all, fair level of surface detail for the wings, some in the engine and cockpits, but definitely some parts missing.